الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتاب العزيز وأستعيذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم للفقراء المهاجرين الذين أخرجوا من ديارهم وأموالهم يبتغون فضلا من الله ورضوانا وينصرون الله ورسوله أولئك هم الصادقون والذين تبوأوا الدار والإيمان من قبلهم يحبون من هاجر إليهم ولا يجدون في صدورهم حاجة مما أوتوا ويؤثرون على أنفسهم ولو كان بهم خصاصة ومن يوق شح نفسه فأولئك هم المفلحون وقال في آية أخرى والسابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين اتبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه وأعد لهم جنات تجري تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم صدق الله العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم. My dear respected elders, brothers and sisters, one of the main things that is in the news nowadays is the issue of refugees being banned from this country and the struggles that people are facing in immigration. And I don't know if this is my imagination, but it seems like the crowd today is very less. Is it because of any kind of fear, or some fear of violence, or some fear of any kind of attack on us? I don't know. But this is not the attitude that we're supposed to have. We're supposed to be optimistic, confident, and whenever death is written for us, it is written for us. We cannot run from it. Okay, so when we see these kinds of situations and tension in the air, we should not regard this as a means for us running or hiding or escaping. We should be facing everything with confidence and optimism, and not running away. So in any case, the thing that is being discussed in the news nowadays is this issue of immigration and the welcoming or not welcoming of refugees. So today's khutbah will be, inshallah, about the history of refugees in Islam and what Islam says about them. And in addition to that, the American history of refugees and what has been going on over the past couple of centuries regarding the issue of refugees. So I recited a couple of verses for you right at the beginning, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He first of all declares that وَالسَّابِقُونَ الْأَوَّلُونَ مِنَ الْمُهَاجِرِينَ وَالْأَنصَارِ وَالَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوهُم بِإِحْسَانٍ رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمْ وَرَضُوا عَنْهُ وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها أبدا ذلك الفوز العظيم. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares about the Sabiqun al-Awwalun. As-Sabiqun al-Awwalun, meaning the people that were before us, and they were our predecessors, and they were basically gathered into two groups, the Muhajirin and Ansar. The habit of people has always been that the thing that people excelled at, and the thing that people were good at, and they were famous for that particular action, they continued to be remembered for that particular action. So for example, a famous soccer player, he may have done a lot of good deeds in his life and a lot of good things in his life, charitable work and so on, but he will always be known as the famous soccer player. The same thing with any basketball player. Now when it comes to the Muhajirin and Ansar, they were given this label, and that label stuck with them until the end of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the label of Muhajirin and the label of the Ansar. Why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciated the action of Hijrah and also appreciated the action of Nusrah that took place. The Hijrah, basically, the people migrated, leaving their homes, their wealth, their families, and going to a new place, starting a new life, simply to preserve their deen. Simply to preserve their deen, they did the Hijrah. And in doing so, they got the appreciation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Ansar, they welcomed these Muhajirin, these people that had left their homes and their wealth and their families for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They welcomed them, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them. And not only that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالَّذِينَ تَبَعُوهُم بِإِحْسَانٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left the door open until the Day of Judgment, not simply for the Muhajirin and Ansar, but anybody who follows in the footsteps of the Muhajirin and Ansar and does what they did, meaning taking actions to preserve their deen, and even if needed, to migrate for the sake of the deen. And people who are migrating and leaving war-torn lands and asking for refuge, to give them the refuge, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says that you people will also be included amongst those Muhajirin and Ansar that took the steps 1400 years ago. This is an amazing thing that we should never lose sight of. And unfortunately what happens is also, even in Muslim countries, when people see an influx of refugees, there is some kind of resistance. There is some kind of feeling that these people are going to come, they're going to come with crime, they're going to take away our jobs and so on. So this is also found in Muslim countries, that kind of attitude. If only we could reflect upon this verse, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned and told us that we can also be counted amongst the Sahaba, amongst the people that did hijrah from Mecca to Medina, and amongst the Ansar that were welcoming and receiving the Muhajirin in Al-Madinatul Munawwara. This is something that we should really reflect upon and think about. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala declares about both groups, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was pleased with them, and they will be pleased with Him. وَأَعَدَّ لَهُمْ جَنَّاتٍ تَجْرِي تَحْتَهَا الْأَنْهَارُ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أَبَدًا ذَلِكَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prepared for them Jannat, gardens, underneath which rivers are flowing, and they're going to stay in those rivers forever and ever. This is the biggest success. So again, the Muhajirin that did hijrah, the Ansar that received them and welcomed them, and anyone that follows in their footsteps, Allah is pleased with them and they will be pleased with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is one aspect of what Islam teaches about receiving refugees and welcoming them, and doing our best to make sure that they are settled and they have no needs that they could be yearning for. In another verse of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala praises the Ansar. In Surah Al-Hashr, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَالَّذِينَ تَبَوَّأُوا الدَّارَ وَالْإِيمَانَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَى أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes the Ansar and says that those people that made their abode in Medina, before them, meaning before the Muhajirin came to them, يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. They love the people that do hijrah towards them. They love the refugees. They love the people that come to them. They show love and express love to them. And this love was expressed in so many ways. First and foremost, the Prophet ﷺ, he did what's known as a very unique thing, which was muakhat. Muakhat bayn al-muhajirin wal-ansar. A muhajir came, and the Prophet ﷺ made him the brother of one of the Ansar. And this Ansari was supposed to take care of him. So much so that it got to a point where many people, they had businesses or houses. A person who had 2 houses, he said, I'm going to empty out and vacate a house for you. You can take that house. I have a business, you can have half of the share of the business. And so on and so forth. So this was the level of sacrifices the Ansar made. So يُحِبُّونَ مَنْ هَاجَرَ إِلَيْهِمْ. They truly loved those people that did hijrah towards them. وَلَا يَجِدُونَ فِي صُدُورِهِمْ حَاجَةً مِمَّا أُوتُوا. And they have no feeling in their heart. They have no ulterior motive in giving the refugees any kind of assistance. They don't want anything from the Baytul Mal, because the Prophet ﷺ, he distributed spoils and he distributed wealth, and sometimes he deprived the Ansar because they were already well off and they had the things that they needed, whereas the Muhajirin, they sometimes used to come empty-handed. So when this distribution used to take place, the Prophet ﷺ gave to those that were the Muhajirin and not the Ansar, and the Ansar did not have any kind of resistance towards it or any kind of intolerance towards this attitude of the Prophet ﷺ. They said that whatever the Muhajirin are getting, they are deserving of it and they should get it, and we have no need for this distribution of wealth. وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. And they gave priority to others over themselves, even though they themselves were in dire need sometimes. And there's a story actually behind this. It's narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. جاء رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ليضيفه فلم يكن عنده ما يضيفه فقال ألا رجل يضيف هذا رحمه الله. A man came to the Prophet ﷺ so that he could be his guest for the night. The Prophet ﷺ had nothing to give him, and he announced amongst the community that, is there any man who can become the host of this person? So a person, فَقَامَ رَجُلٌ مِنَ الْأَنصَارِ يُقَالُ لَهُ أَبُو طَلْحَةَ. A person whose name was Abu Talha, he stood up and he said that I will be the person that will take him in. فَانْطَلَقَ بِهِ إِلَى رَحْلِهِ. He took him to his abode. فَقَالَ لِمْرَأَتِهِ أَكْرِمِي ضَيْفَ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said to his wife, take care of the guest of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. And what did the wife say? That we have nothing in the house except for food for the kids. So he told her that نَوِّمِي الصَّبِيَّةِ, that you should put the kids to sleep. وَأَطْفِئِ الْمِصْبَاحِ, and turn off the lamp. Fiddle with the lamp, pretending to adjust it, and turn it off. وَأَرِيهِ بِأَنَّكَ تَأْكُلِينَ مَعَهُ, and make him think that you are eating with him. Put the food in front of him, let him eat, and you make the action as if you are eating with him, whereas you are not eating anything. وَاتْرُكِيهِ لِضَيْفِ رَسُولِ اللَّهِ صلى الله عليه وسلم, and leave the food for the guest of the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام. فَفَعَلَتْ, she did that. فَنَزَلَتْ وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. This portion of the verse was revealed because of the action of this man, Abu Talha, and his wife. When the man came to the Prophet ﷺ the next morning, the Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala appreciated your action from last night, and he revealed this verse, وَيُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ وَمَنْ يُوقَ شُحَّ نَفْسِهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. The person who is saved from the shuh of his nafs. The shuh in Arabic refers to a combination of stinginess and greed. So if a person is saved from this kind of attitude of stinginess and greed, the Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that those people are successful. So this is again an attitude of a person who has nothing to eat for himself, only enough food for his kids, and yet he even sacrificed that so that he could treat his guests properly. So where do we stand when it comes to taking care of the people that are coming to us? And we see also in the seerah of the Sahaba that when they went to Medina, they contributed positively to the society. They contributed positively to society. For example, Musab ibn Umair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he was sent by the Prophet ﷺ early on, before the actual hijrah took place. And Musab ibn Umair was a young man who learned how to read the Quran, and he taught the people how to read the Quran and Salat and all of these things before the people made hijrah. So these people, refugees, when they come to countries, they can make positive contributions to the society, and we saw that during the time of the Prophet ﷺ. So we should not feel any kind of hesitation in receiving and welcoming such people. And we also see in the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ that the only people that had any problem with the muhajirin was the munafiqeen. The hypocrites of the time, they had the biggest problem with the muhajirin, and particularly with the Prophet ﷺ, because these people, they held leadership positions in Medina before the hijrah of the Prophet ﷺ, and when the Prophet ﷺ migrated, they pushed to the side, and when they were pushed to the side, then their leadership was gone, and now the Prophet ﷺ was the leader, so they had a lot of resentment against the Prophet ﷺ for that position that he had. So these were the only people that had a problem with the muhajirin. And again, we do not want to be categorized amongst those people, amongst the munafiqeen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that. Now going on to the issue of the history of refugees in this country. This country has always received refugees, and there has always been resistance to the refugees too. If we look in the 19th century, 1848, Europe saw a lot of turmoil taking place. There were uprisings and revolutions taking place. In addition to that, in Ireland, a plague sort of resulted in the whole of the potato crop being destroyed, which became known as the potato famine. And when that happened, a lot of these people from Europe and Ireland came to this country. But both of these events, they they resulted in persecution for the refugees when they came. And not only that, it resulted in a group, a political group that advanced, that were known as Know Nothing, the Know Nothing group. And their motto, their slogan was America First. And they resisted this migration of people coming in from Europe and Ireland. In 1845, it is mentioned that more than 3 million people came to the American shores. 3 million people came to the American shores in 1845, and again, they exerted an immediate impact on American life, institutions, and they transformed cities across the Northeast, bringing a new wave of nationalism, which, like I said, was the anti-immigration movement called the Know Nothing movement, which later on died out. But again, in the late 1930s, when the Nazism was rising and people were polled as to whether the Jewish people should be allowed into this country or not, amazingly, 67% of people opposed taking in 10,000 refugee children from Germany. 67 people opposed refugee children coming to this country from Germany that were the victims of Nazis. So again, we see again and again, history speaks for itself, that there was always resistance. In 1975, when there was a crisis in Vietnam, and Vietnamese people were coming across in boats, they were known then as the boat people, 62% said that they feared that the Vietnamese refugees would take their jobs. And 4 years later, just as many people, they said that they didn't want to admit that boat people into the country from Vietnam. The same thing happened in the 1980s against the Cubans. The same thing happens to the Haitians in the 1990s. And again, the same thing applies to what is going on in this day and age. But if we look at it, those same people that came, the Irish came, and they made a place for themselves in American history, and they are an accepted part of American society. You have St. Patrick's Day's parades going on every single year, and many people are very proud of themselves that they are Irish Americans. Amongst them, the Speaker of the House, Paul Ryan. He comes from an Irish American background. And then the Jewish people, despite the initial resistance, they made a place for them in society, so much so that they have a lot of pull in the government, and they have a lot of positions in government lobbying, and many of the politicians are actually Jewish people. So again, we see that we should not take this resistance to refugees as something that we cannot overcome. People overcame it. They became part and parcel of the fabric of this society, and we should also understand that if we resist these difficulties and we are optimistic and we work hard, inshallah, we will see that the Muslim refugees will become and be understood as being part of the fabric of American society, and inshallah there's nothing to be negative or pessimistic about. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand and practice what has been said and heard. Just a few announcements. Firstly, please contribute as much as you can to the expenses. The increased security to the masjid and increased police presence outside has resulted in more bills for the masjid. So please try your best to give at least $20, inshallah. The daily cost of the security is approximately $250 per day for 2 security guards that are there every single night. And in addition, we've doubled up the police presence on Friday. We usually give them $450, and because of doubling up the presence, we have to give $900 just for the police presence today. So we really want the community to step up and be part of, inshallah, these costs that are incurred because of the increased security, and obviously the day-to-day bills need to be paid, so please do contribute generously. The Welcome Refugees Compassion Day is tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, in the masjid tomorrow, the refugees are going to be welcomed, and you are requested to come and be part of that welcoming. Try to bring food, and anything that you can assist with, inshallah, try to do that. See Nuruddin if you can assist with anything. Tonight we have a Know Your Rights session, which is going to be held by Sister Alia Salem and an immigration attorney, which is going to be today after Salatul Isha. Basically, a lot of immigration issues taking place. Everybody is kind of confused as to what should be done and whether we should be afraid to travel or not. So inshallah, if you need to know anything, please come tonight after Salatul Isha. Also, there's going to be an annual prison volunteer training tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Basically, if you want to be part of giving dawah in prisons, teaching in prisons, the Dawah committee has openings for that, and inshallah you need to get training for it because there's a lot of ins and outs that people are unaware of, security issues and so on. So 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. tomorrow inshallah at ICI. Please try to come. It's going to be in room 210. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله أما بعد قال الله تبارك وتعالى إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من صلى وصام اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد بعدد من قعد وقام وصل على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى الملائكة المقربين وعلى عباد الله الصالحين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم ذل الشرك والمشركين اللهم انصر الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وجعلنا منهم واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا معهم اللهم انصرنا ولا تنصر علينا اللهم امكر لنا ولا تمكر علينا اللهم زدنا ولا تنقصنا اللهم آتنا ولا تحرمنا اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وأدخلنا الجنة مع الأبرار يا عزيز يا غفار آمين يا رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون اذكروا الله العلي الجليل يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله تعالى أعلى وأولى وأكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
The second khutbah, so go ahead.